Hello everyone, I'm Roadrunner,
And I'm Night Browser.
and welcome to Rock and Alt Read-Through, where we go over the various movements of the rock and alt charts. This week we have some really interesting debuts all around, also some debuts honoring the great Gordon Lightfoot, may he rest in peace. But getting back to the show, let's start with our constant here, our rock and alt wall taking up the top four once again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, At number one, we have Something in the Orange by Zach Bryan on its 12th week at number one at 54 weeks total, which actually surged on streaming this week as it was put back on playlisting for Amazon in favor of Dawn's.
Please.
Which we will get to later. It's safe to say that this will not be leaving the top spot anytime soon. Um, I find it so funny that Zach's team saw that it dodged recurrency and they're like, okay, we have to get this back in the top 25 on the Hot 100 before the radio slows down. So it just gave it like a bunch of Amazon playlisting. But yeah.
Yeah.
At number two, we have Until I Found You by Steven Sanchez on his 59th week, which is here on some decent streaming and radio. And even though both are falling, it's just stuck here due to large margins within our top four. Um, at number three, we have Bad Habit by Steve Lacy on its 44th week with some continuous strong streaming, but is slipping as every other channel is falling. At number four, we still have Sunroof by Nikki and Daisy on its 65th week. Again, no real streaming to speak of, and radio, it's just the radio won't let this
Oh
go.
my god.
Fingers crossed, 13 more weeks at the most before it goes recurrent. If it stays at number four, that is.
Yeah.
But some good news, our number five is closing the gap every week, that being Need a Favor by Jelly Roll, as sales and radio continue to rise, but still no meaningful streaming to speak of apart from Amazon, which is where it's getting most of its streaming.
Checks out.
Yeah. Six is Ceilings by Lisa McAlpine, which is actually up a spot due to the streaming stabilizing, but this week its radio was already slipping and falling, so rip to any real radio run.
Aww.
It's good. It might have. Um, at number seven, we have Dawns by Zach Bryan and Maggie Rogers, which slipped a spot this week due to losing its Amazon playlisting. But seems to be stable everywhere else, so we shall see where this goes from here. At number eight, we have Here With Me by David, which streaming is stable. And with that EP announcement for the May 29th, I believe this should be getting a nice boost soon. At number nine, we actually have a new entry into our top 10, Straight and Narrow by Sam Barber. which continues to gain on streaming, although being completely indie, I doubt it's getting any radio anytime soon, sadly. And rounding out our top 10, we have Hell and Back at 10. Hell and Back by Bakar at 10, which continues to have some pretty good streaming, but might not get any further. So why don't you start us off with our losers and dropouts?
Sounds good. So, no notable songs went recurrent this week. If I Were a Fish by Cowork featuring Olivia Barton drops big from the debut down from 22 to 36. Rescued by Foo Fighters drops down to 22 from its peak of 15 last week. Labor by Paris Paluma also drops big from 24 to 34. Drive Me Crazy by Lil Yachty drops from 32 to 42 as its streaming continues to dwindle again, sadly. Also, Fighting Myself by Linkin Park drops down to 47 from 36 last week as its run seems to be coming to an end. 72 Seasons by Metallica drops to 50 from 49 last week as its album impact has almost faded completely. And finally, Waste by Killswitch is down from 36 to 44 as it's looking to go recurrent next week since it's at 20 weeks. This might make the year end, we'll see.
Yeah.
As for gainers and reentries, only reentry this week is New Girl. Which is I think is a mistake on Billboard's part that they let it leave in the first place since it was rising on alt for the past few weeks. It's all the way up to number 2 on that chart this week. And no gains at all outside the top 10 this week due to all the debuts.
um, yeah, and forgot to mention it. New Gold is by Gorillaz featuring Tame Impala and Booty Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Um, oh, and also it probably got a bit of a streaming gain due to one of our debuts, which
Yeah. Makes
we are
sense.
getting to now. Um, so let's start at number 48. Um, American Jesus by Nessa Barrett. And you know what? This is pretty good. At least in my opinion, Nessa has a great vocal performance and the instrumental is clean and very well done. Only problem with this is the lyrics have a case of TikTok-itis, which a lot of her songs have, where nuance is like completely thrown out the window.
Mm.
um, like Nessa is like proclaiming how much this man she's talking about like saved her or is there for her, but some of the lyrics just don't pan out some of the time.
Hmm.
It's still really good, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, this song was just kind of the air for me. To be honest, I thought the lyrical content compared her boyfriend to the Messiah with how much she devotes her life to her was a clever concept, but doesn't do much else with that idea. And the production lacking any color and punch doesn't help it stand out either. To me, at least, it sounds like it was made as the theme for a CW show that got canceled after one season. Can't, can't say I dislike it, but I'll likely forget about this sooner than later.
Oh my god, that's kind of true. At number 43, we have Forerunner by Brenn. Um, and yeah, this is a really breezy piece um, singer-songwriter song where the singer's like longing for somebody that left him, and now his life is feeling emptier. All the ways he describing how he is wondering where this person is at now is really creative. Its presentation can feel a bit generic, but he keeps it interesting enough that it doesn't have me lose interest entirely, at least. So yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, this one was another one that didn't really work for me. Brenn sounds like a
Oof.
Diet Lewis Capaldi, not nearly as unlistenable as that guy's voice, but still not great. It's not helped by the lyrics where he encounters a girl and learns what changed with her, which aren't bad alone, but it's framed in a possessive way where he makes it look like he's been stalking her all over town. It just feels creepy, at least to me. I'll give it this. I thought it sounded decent, and the instrumental switch up is pretty cool, but
Hmm.
everything else about this track is just kind of off-putting. At least it's not the worst debut this week.
Yes. At seems at number 28 we have "Dirty Money" by Tom McDonald. Yeah, just completely fucked this song. I got about a minute in and just stopped because it was just so cringe and whiny, and all the like forced right wing commentary. Why is this on Rock and Alt Billboard? Because of those three guitar chords at the start of it. Is that why? Yeah, not giving this loser any more of my time than that.
Man, to be honest, I can't say him debuting on Hot Rock and All wasn't unexpected, at least to me. I've seen him chart there since 2021. Doesn't mean that I was anticipating listening to the song. And as I expected, it was a fucking migraine in more ways than one. And the chorus has to go out of his vocal range, and he sounds like he has a sore throat on there or in the lyrics, while he just goes into his usual name rants towards the quote unquote woke media and how they're controlling us and some other far right conspiratorial ramblings. from what I get on there, he almost seems to understand the exploitative and destructive natures of capitalism, but all of his points
Yeah.
related to that are either misplaced or misguided, with like no acknowledgement of this behavior coming from his own political side. And considering his grifter status, I wouldn't be surprised if he does actually understand, but he continues to pump out mudslinging garbage like this for profit anyway.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Now, moving on from that, we have number 27, Eyes Wide Shut by Illenium featuring Avril Lavigne and Travis Barker. Um, yeah, this song is really awesome, in my opinion. One of Avril's best performances, vocal performances, and lyrics in a long while, apart from Bite Me, of course. And it reminds me a lot of her 2000 stuff in the best way. Travis Barker's strumming is stellar as always. Seems Illenium has a knack for this type of production, although I haven't listened to a lot of his other stuff. So at least this might be a fluke. The lyrics seem to be about coming to terms with moving on, which is something I can definitely relate to and get behind. So yeah, definitely recommend for me.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of expected a couple more songs from that Illenium self-titled albums to be,
Yeah.
considering the amount of collabs of various rock and alt artists on the track list. To be fair, this one's pretty solid. It's your standard Avril and Travis Barker collab with a few electronic. Well, it doesn't do that much to say, yeah, and out from every other song featuring Barker's involvement over the past few years. It's pretty solid for what it does, even if it basically feels like a B-side to Avril's last album. Um, but yeah, so yeah, good stuff.
Mm-hmm. At number 26, we have No More Lies by Thundercat and Tame Impala. Um, a very funky collab between the two of these artists, but I did not expect anything less. And yeah, this is really good. I think the lyrics, specifically of "I'll just be on my own. I'm dancing on my own. I'll just stay on my own unless she wants me back," is so hilarious and relatable because it's like, yeah, I can do this by myself. I'll be able to live without you, unless you change your mind, of course. Like it's just like going back on it like instantly. Um, and yeah, it also finishes with like a very interesting spoken word by Thundercat, and the final words ending with "My emotions have been sanded off. I live in LA, sweetie. What do you expect?" Is kind of a more chilling ending line than you would expect or think. But yeah, this is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, this is exactly what I expected for a collab between these two artists, and I mean that in the best way possible. For one, the song is just gorgeous. The glossy yet vibrant production over the chilled out instrumentation sounds great. And while I'll admit I'm not familiar enough with Thundercat's discog to compare the song to, I can say this stands up with some of Tame Impala's best songs. Not to mention, Thundercat and Kevin Parker's harmonies are immaculate. All around, this is a jam.
Yeah, cannot agree more. At number 20, we have The Wreck of Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot. Um, and Gordon Light, just for some context, Gordon Lightfoot, may he rest in peace, got three debuts this week due to a huge sale boost of his biggest songs from the 70s. This one being the first that we're going to cover. Um, the lyrical content of this one is pretty interesting. Basically, going over what happened on the SS Edmund Fitzgerald and the various events that occurred during its wreck. And although the lyrics and story are really interesting, the delivery is a bit more understated than I would like, and it's just so melodically repetitive with all its stanzas. And like, although the story, I can appreciate it for being intricate and well written, it felt like it didn't need to be 6.5 minutes, at least in my opinion.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I actually really like this one, but I wish I loved it. As you said, it's a story about the SS Edmund Fitzgerald and the events that happened, and even with the 6 minute runtime, the lyrics are so detailed that it feels it feels like a movie compact acted it into in one song. With all that said, I don't think the production has aged that well. The mixing here
Mm-hmm.
feels very flat, and unfortunately makes the whole song sound less grand and scope than it's trying to be. But still, this one's pretty cool.
Yeah. Onto our onto number 17. If you could read my mind by Gordon Lightfoot, um, which is our second song here from Gordon, and it's probably my favorite of the three. Um, Gordon wishing he could look back into his lover's mind and wondering what she's thinking about, especially as they're going through turmoil and are unsure of what the future holds. It's very introspective, and the instrumental is just so good with the small touches of violin, and it's so fleshed out, and the definite recommend for me.
Oh yeah, I really dug. It's a simple breakup song, but what makes it stand out is the subtle but gorgeous instrumentation with the tuned down
Mm-hmm.
guitars and the carefully played strings. And Gordon's teary-eyed performance pulls you into his sorrow over his past relationship. It's an AM Gold staple that I'd say is well deserved of its status.
Yeah. Um, Now, swerving away from Gordon Lightfoot for a bit, we have number 13, The Alcott by The National featuring Taylor Swift. And I'll start off by saying that I thought this was alright. It's another song where the main singer is reminiscing about times he had with a person from the past, and for some reason she's might have gone away, has be it she left him or she passed. But the instrumental is a bit stiff. It has like a lot of these odd spare keys throughout. Although probably the coolest part of the song is using Taylor as the other voice. It's like the main singer's reminiscing about. Like it's not set up as like a duet, but a duet he's like dreaming of or like concocting in his head. Um, and from that perspective, it's I don't know. I found that really cool to show that to have those dimensions. But like, man, this could have been so good if they just stuck the landing on this.
Now, I thought the National collabing with Taylor Swift made total sense considering Aaron Dessner's
Yeah.
heavy involvement with folklore and Evermore. Here,
Mm-hmm.
Aaron and Taylor lament over their turbulent relationship and try to hold on together despite their struggles. Their vocal chemistry really sells you their emotional pain, and it's all backed down by an initially stripped down instrumental that eventually swells into this grand, more orchestral sound. I'm not sure how long this will stick around, but I really hope it does.
Mm-hmm. Um. Yeah, and to end us off on the debuts here at number 11, we have Sundown by Gordon Lightfoot. Highest debut this week from him, and it's a nice little catchy tune from him. Sundown seems to be a code word for a girl, or like a pseudonym for a girl that like constantly cheats on him, and due to this having like paranoia and saying he's ready to move on, but he finds it hard to truly move on because their because their physical relationship is just too good. Yeah, it was a fun little tune.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this. As you said, this is pretty pleasant to listen to. The lyrics are pretty interesting, even if I can't really connect to them. I think what keeps me forgetting more into this is mainly because my parents really overplayed this song like a few years ago. Oh,
Oh my god.
yeah. But yeah, pretty alright song.
Mhm. Um. So, what were your awards for this week, Night Browser?
Alright, best of the week is going to go to No More Lies by Thundercat and Tame Impala, while honorable
Mhm.
mention will go to The Alcott by The National and Taylor Swift. This honorable mention I'll give to Forerunner by Brenn, and like, do we even have to mention the worst of the week?
Yes, we. I'll just straight up say here, Night Browser's worst of the week is, um, uh, uh, Dirty Money by Tom McDonald. My worst of the week is Dirty Money by Tom McDonald in all caps. At least for me, just get out of here with that stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
you know what? I'm gonna go with all caps on that as well,
yes,
Pocket.
yeah. So yeah, for that was my worst of the week. My dishonorable mention by default is gonna go to the Alcott by the National featuring Taylor Swift. I really wished I liked that one more. My honorable mention is gonna go to If You Could Read My Mind by Gordon Lightfoot, and my best of the week is Eyes Wide Shut by Illenium featuring Avril Lavigne and Travis Barker. Um, so yeah, I mean, we finally had like a lot of differences in our awards this week, which is cool to see.
Oh yeah.
Because usually they line up pretty well. But yeah, cool that there was a shake up. And yeah, I think that's it for today's episode. Next week, we better see that new Ed Sheeran track debut on this chart because it's definitely rock. Like, no mistake. And if they allow that god awful Tom McDonald song to count for this chart, they definitely should let Curtains be charting. Come on,
I
Billboard.
I could
Um,
see, honestly, there might be a chance that Sheeran could have an entire album, but there because Billboard counted Folklore and Evermore on this chart, and Aaron Dessner is involved with the new Ed Sheeran album as well.
yeah, I mean, hopefully, because I think it definitely, that whole album definitely deserves to be on this chart, but the first two singles, they didn't count for it, which um, I get, Eyes Closed, why I didn't count, but like, Boat definitely should have counted. So I don't know. I'm a bit worried that they might not, but we'll see. We'll have to see next week. Other than that, then you bring me the Horizon should definitely debut next week.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, apart from that, nothing really on my radar
Uh,
that I know of right now.
30 Seconds to Mars released a new song a
Oh,
few days ago, so be on the lookout for that. Unfortunately,
I would not be surprised at all if it didn't debut, but it could. Um, but yeah, hopefully Ed gets the album bomb. Um, and yeah, we would definitely appreciate it if you would leave a like and subscribe. You know you want to. Comment your favorite debut of this week too. We are always interested in hearing other perspectives. And thank you to everyone who watches this series. We appreciate you greatly. I'm Roadrunner,
and I'm Night Browser.
and we'll see you next episode.